Hello everybody and welcome back once again to Let's Play Crusader Kings 2, the House Fleming Dynasty. Well, I am a little bit miffed off, to say the very least. As we left off last time, it was 1141. I started today's session from the very same point that we left off last time and played through a session, pretty much to the very end. But just before I did end the session, the game, or rather my computer, crashed. It blue screened on me. And that meant that the recording that I was doing, the session that I did record, became corrupted and I've lost an entire session. Now if that session had been uneventful, I would have just simply restarted from this point and record a session again as if nothing had happened. However, something did happen in that session, and not only one thing happened, a hell of a lot of things cropped up in that session, which means that I don't want to play it again, because it's actually worked out to my advantage. So rather than you basically see what happened in the last session and watch it, you're going to have to take my word for it, because I'm going to start up from the last autosave before the crash, and outline everything that happened during my last recording and pick it up from there. Now what that means is, because I've already been recording for about 45 minutes and I'm starting again, I don't have as much time on my hands to do a full hour's session again. As you can tell, my voice is already cracking because I've already played a session and I've already been talking for 45 minutes. So this session is no doubt going to be about half an hour. It's going to be a shorter session, but that's because, technically speaking, it's my second one. So you're going to have to bear with me. I don't know where the last autosave occurred. It's really awkward. I do apologise for this. Okay, right. Lovely. The autosave is not from too far away. Okay, so what happened was, I'll try and remember what I covered last time. My son was originally unmarried. My eldest son, George of Deved, was part of the court of Normandy, and therefore his grandmother, Duchess Hermione, was not getting him married off, and therefore at the start of this session I took your advice and I invited a suitable candidate across to my court. I invited Elizabeth across to my court. She was a fortune builder. She's got the quick trait, 17 stewardship, so potentially their children are going to be pretty nifty, hopefully in the stewardship department. So that was the first thing that I arranged, and it came off nicely because he accepted the proposal. So he's now married, already had a young daughter, but we're still waiting for a son. He's also a count now. He's Count of Deved. Why? Because we inherited Normandy. Finally, Duchess Hermione, his mother, passed away in 1141 on the 22nd of September, and he became Duke of Normandy. So we gained the County of Rouen, which means our domain size went to 4 from 3, which was too much. So we had to give away Deved. We couldn't give away Devon or Cornwall because they're currently not our settlements technically, because they're currently under attack or have been taken over by this faction here. So these are not available to give away. So we had to give away Deved, and we give it away to our eldest son. Because we moved our court to Rouen, which is where he is based, we can now give him a title. So we gave him Deved. So that's why he has a title. So Deved, Glamorgan and Gwent are owned by 3 of our sons. 3 sons, 3 counties, all next door to each other. A recipe for disaster, but that's as it is. So that's the situation. We moved our court across to Rouen, so we've moved our capital city. Duke George of Cornwall, he spent most of his life growing up in Rouen, and therefore when the opportunity arose to move away from the battered and bruised Cornwall, which is now under the hands of the enemy, he moved himself away on some boats and set up camp and Rouen. So that is now our new capital city. For the first time in the Fleming history, Cornwall is no longer our capital. But then upon doing that, for some strange reason, our domain size shrunk. Before we could have a domain size of 3, now we can only have a domain size of a paltry 2. Not good. So before we can give away Devon, which is next on our list, we have to ensure that it no longer is in enemy hands. So we're going to have to wait for the war with England to end. It shouldn't take too long, because as you can see, the forces of Duchess Sibylla are rallying right now. So that's that situation. Major twist and turn of events. The Chancellor Mitrofan, who we tasked to fabricate a claim on the entire Duchy of Brittany, did fabricate a claim on the entire Duchy of Brittany. So when we do capture Brittany, we will live up to our promise and give him a title within this land, because he's pulled off a major coup here. But before we can capture Brittany for ourselves, we have a slight problem. When we became the new Duke of Normandy, as is customary, some vassals weren't happy with that, namely the Count of Amiens. He rose up against us, and we're currently putting him down right now. So before we capture Brittany, we just have to quell this little outrage down here in Amiens. But once that is done, we can disband our levies, and then once our levies are disbanded, we can then wage war on Brittany. So as you can see, only 2 years have passed since the end of the last session, but those 2 years were very, very eventful, which is why I am not going to play them out again. I felt that so much had happened that it was a shame to let it go to waste. Namely, claiming the Duchy of Brittany was a major advantage to us, and therefore having to chance that again, I didn't think it was worth it. So yeah, that's why I'm not starting a new session. That's why I'm leaving things as they were from the last autosave. So we'll start the time again rolling, and I swear to you, this is not me trying to play things to my advantage. I haven't played 3 or 4 different sessions waiting for this to happen. I literally sat down, played the session, and boom, the game crashed, and that is exactly what happened during the session. So hopefully things will play out as they did at the end of the last session, just as it crashed. What happened was Duchess Sibylla's forces reached 6,000 troops. I don't know how she gained so many men, but she did. I think it might be because she's using some retinues, but her forces increased to 6,000, and she basically took England, put King Rudolph on the throne, and Adam was thrown into the dungeons. That happened, I think, well, it obviously happened before January the 1st, 1144. Because it happened before the next autosave point. So we'll see if it happens again. Now, he is now offering a peace. We imprison our brother because he is part of the faction. We imprison him because he rose up against us, and we gain 100 prestige. So we'll accept that. We then disband the troops, which means we no longer have any troops in the field, and we have to pause the game to figure out how we're going to deal with all these various prisoners that we have. Because another thing that happened in the last session before it crashed was there was a few plots going on. So for a start, we know about this Mitrofan nonsense, and finally he will end the plot, so that's a bonus. We can sort that out. But my son, Torf of Gwent, seeks to kill his elder brother. Not a good situation. However, Duke George, being rather slothful and lacking impetus sometimes, he likes his eldest son, George III. He likes Torf. although Torf hates my guts, we like him. So it's a situation where we're torn between two sons. Who do we choose? Do we choose one son over another? Do we sit back and let them sort out their petty squabbles with each other? Or do we protect our future heir? Well, Duke George decided to take the slothful approach, and he decided to let them sort it out themselves. The current plot only has one backer. The plot power surely can't be that high. So he's just taking a slight chance in allowing this plot to basically to go ahead. Some of you may be screaming, "You stupid fool, don't allow that to happen." But it's gonna happen. It's almost like a wait and see type situation. I'm waiting to, well, George is waiting to see what happens. If it's a bad mistake, well, what can you do? We're leaving it to chance to spice up the LP, I suppose, in a certain respect. So we'll see if that plot comes to fruition. It could be the first heir of the Fleming dynasty to have been bumped off. So, that is the righteous imprisonment messages that we have. And of course, our chance to imprison him is actually fairly low, because our state intrigue is, well, not too high. Just going to change a few things here. Don't need him fabricating a claim because we already have a claim. So we'll use him to increase some relations. We'll have him train troops in our capital. We'll have him collect taxes in our capital. We'll have him sorting out some schemes in our capital. And we'll have him increasing relations with Bishop of Exeter, which is in Devon. Okay. Alright, bear with me folks while I just sort this out. Yes, Earl of Glamorgan, Richard Fleming. No, him here. Mayor of Arquess. That's in ruin. We can't have our own settlement. Mayor's not paying us taxes, so what we're going to do is we're going to have him improve in ruin. There we go. Okay, so that sorts that out, right. So our domain size is too big, but until we can give away Devon, we can't do anything about it. Righteous imprisonment, we're not going to imprison our own son just yet, and we can press de jure ducal claims in Vexin. Is Vexin independent right now? Wait a second. Vexin is gone independent. We can ask, we can, oh my god, what's happening here? How did it go independent? I don't understand. I'm confused. For some reason, we did have Vexin. We had control of Mortain, Evro, Ruin, Vexin and Amiens. We've repelled the war with Amiens, but for some reason Vexin is independent. Now I don't know how he's pulled this stunt on us, but he has. We can't ask him to swear fealty either. That's a load of crap. Anyway, we can't claim it back because technically speaking it's a fellow vassal of England, and the Crown Authority laws don't allow us to wage war with each other, so that's a crying shame. But what we can do, although well, our domain levy size is literally shot to bits currently, we can start the war with Brittany. Oh yes indeed. It's going to be long and grueling claiming an entire duchy, and it's going to cost a fair bit. But, well, we need to press it before George dies, otherwise we lose the claim. So, let us start. the war for Brittany. The entire duchy. I need 100 piety because they are... Oh, they are currently in a war. It looks like they are currently in some kind of a Crusader war. They are defending against some kind of a holy war, which means that to break that or to attack somebody in a holy war, it costs us an extra bit of piety, which means we need some more piety. And the quickest way to get piety is to pay for indulgence, which is going to cost us some money, but it'll have to do. Especially when the entire Britain is at stake, and hopefully if they've sent some troops into a holy war, they're going to be crippled in terms of their levies. Glory to you, my holy father. Thank you. I take your indulgence. And I ask for some more. Thank you so much. Right. I don't know what's happening down here. What's happening here? Defending against Duchess Sibylla. Ah, yes. I was getting sidetracked. I have people in my prison. Right. Abelard, my brother. I like the man. And he likes me. So I'm going to release him. Off you go. Go forth. Thank you so much. However, the person that pushed this stupid faction in the first place might not get off so lightly. Where is he? Where is the little blighter? Yes. He is the one that rose up. Is he the one that rose up against me? Yes, El Benoit.